This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Finance for this Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. We have our regular agenda in front of us. Let's start with the minutes, if we could, please. Let's start with a motion, if we could.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second, please.
Second.
We have a second. Any comments on the minutes, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Under old business, there was no correspondence, but I will report, as the members know, last month we talked about sending an email to the Board of Finance, the Board of Ed, on the, I think it was $158,000 that they had, that we'd like to move to the Workman's Comp Fund. Mr. Monaco did talk to Howard? No, you talked to,
Well, I thought Ron said it was 291.
291,
Sorry.
233.
Okay. Anyway, the email was sent. I also followed up myself with an email to Mr. Sturck, to Mr. Strickland, and also to the chairman of the Board of Ed. So it's my understanding that they will be moving the money over to the Workman's Comp Fund.
Despite what it says on the on their narrative in the
Or
report?
at least a portion of it. I'm not sure if,
I-
their board has to meet.
That is a difference, by the way.
They did not respond to my email, Mike, but I saw what, by the way, you're referring to when I read this last night.
Yeah, I'm not sure they, okay.
Well, but what they said, Rich, was right, they were going to move it to the non-lapsing and then
Non-lapsing,
over.
and then event-
That's what
and they
they-
did
that's
move to non-lapsing. Once it was
Okay.
in non-lapsing, then they're gonna move,
Okay, it's a nice holding account.
Portion.
Beautiful place for it, sure. All right.
okay? They have increased the amount they're putting into worker comp every month.
Comments. Yeah, so Rich and I met with Patrick Sturck, Ron Bathrick, and Christian, and it was a very positive, upbeat meeting, and that's what Rich is talking about, okay? So it'll go in the non-lapsing account.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it a bit more during when we hit the Board of Ed.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Reports. Let's start with the report of revenue for September, please. I guess I would note for those in attendance and those at home, we did get in our full pilot grant for $1,082,824. Tax collections are running nicely. We got in almost $900,000 during the month. We've collected over 56% for the year. And interest on short-term investments is still running strong. We've already collected 64% of this year's budget. And we had a good month in payment in lieu of taxes. We've collected 48% of the budget year to date. With that, members, questions, comments, please go ahead.
Yeah, I agree that in many areas, we are doing very well. Certainly the collection of taxes, as you mentioned, and this one item from the state of Connecticut, the interest on short-term investments. However, our town revenue departments still are a little bit on the low side, except for cemeteries, but with the total of that category being a little bit under 20%, and we really should be about 25%. So building fees, fire fees, and paramedic services are a little on the low side.
Any other comments on the revenue? All right, if not, why don't we talk about the expenses? I did look at the report. I will say this, I looked at the utilities especially. The utilities are actually doing very well, but I think the members probably noticed there was a lot of overages in different departments in the areas of maintenance and repair. I think if you look at the overall spend for the through September, the report shows that we spent 29%, but about 11% of that's encumbrances, so we're really more in the 18% range through September. If the members have any questions or comments, please go right ahead.
Yes, on 160, building inspection, overtime,
What page?
Just give us the page, please, Bob.
Right. Oh, yeah, I have that.
is it 191%?
What page, Bob?
Page
Three.
Page 3,
The bottom.
second from bottom.
That's a consultant that resigned last year, and there's some OT to cover some of the work. If you look at page 4, the consultant line, it's at 11%. You'll see that one lower as well.
Okay.
And Tim, you're right, I had just a couple of things on maintenance and equipment is what popped out to me in a few places here. The library, for one, on page 4. And then there was on page 6 and under central facilities.
There's a lot of preventative maintenance going on for the winter in all the buildings.
And the rental properties too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're- Go ahead.
No, except if you just look at the building next door, they're building a porch on the back end of that building. The last one was rotted. They've replaced at least 2, if not 3 handicap ramps on different town buildings.
Let me jump in here, Tim, okay? So we have one of our buildings in town that's leased out to the Knights of Columbus, and we have a disabled gentleman that drives around on a bike, and we found out that the ramp, the wood was rotted. We have to jump on it right away. It's an ADA issue, which we did, and that's what's happened here, so.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for doing that.
Page 6, the personal tuition and expenses. We've used all the budget. And we went over.
Say again, Diane?
With page 6, personal tuition and expenses.
That is contract driven. This is due to police. When they take courses, we reimburse for that.
So we basically take a historical value as to what we think it would be, depending on how many people take use of it. So this year, we tracked a little bit over.
Okay, thank you.
Rich Ingrid, on page 11, the transfer station recycling, hauling is already running pretty high. It's 47% year-to-date. There is an encumbrance there, but still, it's running ahead, it looks like.
It might be bulk the last 2 weeks in
Yeah.
September, bulk pickup.
Yeah, bulk pickup, right, yeah.
Yep.
A question in general about that. Are our recycling fees up? Are we being charged more for recycling?
Our tipping fees are larger than
fees.
they were the previous year.
Okay.
I mean, if you go back, what was it, maybe 6 or 8 years ago, we were actually getting paid for recycles. Like $6 a ton, now we're paying for them to take it.
Well, but again, if you turn to page 12 to the actual tipping fees, we're only at about 12%.
Yeah, but the question, that's exactly right, but the question is, there's a difference between recycling and tipping.
Exactly.
Tipping fees deposit trash at a municipal or a non-municipal facility. Recycling gets picked up and taken out. To Rich's point and to Bob's question, at one point in time, we were getting paid for recyclables. Now it's about the same tipping fee as it would be with respect to municipal waste.
Other members have questions or comments on the expense side?
Sort of, if this is a time to address what's happening on some of these, in some of these departments here. I just had a question, believe it or not, out of all things, the Cemetery Commission. A beautiful Cemetery Commission on page 4. There's nothing out of order in what the budget numbers that are reported here. But I've heard reports that there's a lot of broken and loose headstones and some other maintenance issues in the cemetery. And they finally met recently, and I think they're concerned that they don't have enough funds to properly do fulfill their mission. I just wanted to know, what department head covers the supervises the cemeteries?
I do.
Would that be you, Mr. Monaco?
That would be me.
Well, you do wear,
So ask me what your question is.
you wear a lot of hats. You wear
Yes,
a
I
lot
do.
of hats. And,
The town maintains the cemetery. It's in our budget. We maintain the grounds. We do snow removal, pretty much everything that has to be done. There is a,
what do you think the state of the cemeteries are now? I mean, are you satisfied with how?
there are some damages. There's a few headstones that have some damage. What we do is we have a small amount of money that we use for repair, but I'm not willing to spend it until I can find a grant that's gonna match it. So if I'm spending $1 to fix it, I want $1 from somebody else as well. So we kind of look for the grants. The town did that. Last time we had some major restoration done there, it was the same thing. The town applied for a grant. A lot of times they require that we match them, and we get money, we get a little bit more bang for our buck.
We love outside funding.
Yes,
If a grant doesn't come up, does that, we just?
there's nothing major problem, but if there's something else that needs to be looked at, we'll take a look at it.
If they need a couple extra dollars, are you willing at the end of the year to reconcile a ship from one department to another?
Let me jump in here, okay?
Sure.
So, let me answer this. You have to understand, there's a distinction in the cemeteries. The one you're speaking about, Michael, is the ancient cemetery on the town green. That's different than the other cemeteries that we maintain. The other cemeteries we maintain, we have a contract, as Rich says. If there's a stone that's overturned, we will, through Public Works, call the monument company and replace it. We've done that many times. But the ancient cemetery, which I call the ancient cemetery, the one that's adjacent to the green, across from Town Hall, that's different. Those are back in the 16 and 17 and 1800s. It requires a certain skill. We can't just call a regular monument company to turn those stones over. They're brittle, and this is where the expense comes in. We have to hire, to give you an analogy, when we did a roof over there at the Historical Society, you just can't call a regular roofer. It has to be something of historic
Right.
infrastructure.
Yeah, I think that the Cemetery Commission's concern was that with what was broken or loose or whatever, that it would become more damaged if somehow it wasn't addressed in the very near future.
So, to Rich's point, he's got a good plan here, that requires so much expense that he's looking for a match to ensure that we can match that so that we can hire an expert, somebody that specializes in ancient cemeteries that can restore those stones.
Okay.
And the funds that are available to the Cemetery Commission, is that exclusive to the ancient cemetery?
The Cemetery Commission has no funds available to them. The town maintains the
There is
cemetery.
a special fund.
No, we have a
There's-
fund for
there-
perpetual
there's
care.
There's a fund for perpetual care. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the commission. That's controlled by the town.
Right, but do we use them, is the question, I guess.
Well,
Rich.
that's what we would use for the match. That's what I'm alluding to. If I can find a grant,
And that can be used on
I-
any of the three cemeteries?
yes, I draw the funds from that.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the last year, if you look at what the cemetery has taken in compared to what we put out, we operate at a deficit.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna restructure the pricing at our next meeting in January to increase grave openings more in line with what it cost us.
You can have a sale on graves? Buy two, get one for free?
No,
What
but
are you doing?
it costs us more than the structure right now is to open them,
Yeah, right.
so.
So does the town's contribution to the cemeteries, does that cover the deficit? Is that meant to cover their operating deficit?
We're still operating at a deficit, but the town just absorbs it. It absorbs into the cemetery lines. If you look at the last budget cycle, you know, if you look at this and what we get taken in, there's a significant delta between them.
All right, thank you for speaking about this. Sorry it took so long.
That's okay.
Hey,
Thank you, Mike. Again, any other members have questions or comments on the expense side? of the town.
Again, just coming back to that same issue of the cemetery commission, the maintenance of grounds for the cemetery, I'm assuming that that's exclusively referring to the main cemetery, not the ancient cemetery. Is that correct?
There's 3 cemeteries.
We have
that
3
the town
cemeteries,
maintains.
right? Yeah.
Okay, so not the ancient cemetery, the maintenance of grounds. This budget that we have for $76,500, what does that cover as opposed to anything covered?
It covers the
By discussion.
contract for the 2 cemeteries.
Okay, because the
I'm assuming
maintenance
the
of
town
grounds
does
is at
agree, right?
Yeah, we do.
57%.
Town does agree.
Right.
So if we have a contract for maintenance, why is it at 57%?
Well, it might be front-loaded.
Well,
So,
there's $12,000,
Right,
there's
there's
$12,000 encumbrance here,
so we've gone through
which
this
is.
time and time
which is-
again.
Which is
So that will
20%,
be,
right?
that will
Right.
probably be used in the spring, is that?
Right.
Yeah,
mean-
okay. Because the actual revenue from the cemetery is, on the town revenue departments is at 31%, which is better than what we would expect for this time of year, so. Okay, thank you, that's all I have for that.
All right, why don't we move on to the Board of Ed? As Mike already pointed out, the letter from Christian Strickland, Chief Operating Officer, does say that they were going to move the underutilized funds from last year into the non-lapsing fund. And as I think was pointed out last month, the reserve accounts are listed here, but this is, and he does say it, but this is the cash balance. It's not the, not sure what the right term is, but it's not the actuarial balance inclusive of the liabilities that are outstanding. I also, and Rich, maybe we can find out, I thought the comment threw me off on the workman's comp. There already is a deficit, and what it says here is that the account line will run a deficit for this year to assist in the necessary funding.
Funding, I think what they mean is that they're going to overspend the line to bring money to the fund in
Yeah.
their budget, in their operating budget.
Oh, well, okay, maybe they are. I thought, because the sentence isn't truly complete, I thought they meant they were going to run a deficit to cover other categories in the budget. It wasn't really clear here.
No,
But
I
maybe
think-
you're
I think their intention is to overspend that line.
Overspend it, build the reserves more, and cover that over expenditure with another line item. Well, that makes more
Correct.
sense.
Right.
Right, okay.
Well, to clarify once again, when you sent this report out last month here on the workman's comp town, workman's comp BOE, the beginning balance and the net position, that's based on perceived liabilities, or?
That
It has IBNR.
Has the
See
IBNR,
line that says IBNR,
Yeah.
incur but not reported, so it has that liability in the calculation.
Yeah.
Where, does it say anything?
No, it's included in the expenditures already for final.
Incur but not reported. So, again, if these line items, if this net position with the Board of Ed is negative 1.4 million,
Right.
then how do they,
They're showing you
Because
the
he's only
cash-
showing the cash,
showing
Mike,
the
that he's
cash.
got available.
They're
He's not
your-
showing
Right.
the full liability, the full accrual, if you will.
yeah. All right, well,
So if you take the net position and you minus the IBNR for that year, that should give you your cash balance, which is very minimum.
right. So then how does that get reconciled with the actual line item that's in their budget here, where their total budget for the year is $222,000?
Are you looking at a munis report of theirs?
Yes.
Yes, their operating
And
budget.
so their
That's their
operating
operating
budget is to change. Based on their letter, they're gonna overfund that, so that they're gonna charge, 210% to that line.
Well, that IBNR then, or the total deficit, or the total net position that's listed here of negative 1.4 million, that could be spread out over a number of years? Or
It hasn't occurred yet. It could be spread out over a number of months. It
what sort
could
of
be-
time horizon would you?
It's a trailing, it's like the last, what it's meant to do is cover, if we went to an outside company today and got a traditional,
Yeah. Okay.
policy where we're paying a premium,
All right.
we'd have to pay the claims,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tail claims, if you will, that have yet to be
Okay.
made, right?
I mean, there could be claims made against a worker comp policy, a year afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
The person could be
All right.
back to work, but they may have a settlement claim that we may not see for a year plus.
We still have a good question on Mike, is why
Yeah.
the workman comp line is only $222,000, that seems low.
Yeah, it's apparently under budgeted.
Well, again, there's two different issues here. One is the line item, workers' comp, which is budgeted for $220,000. And the second thing is the special fund of workers' comp. And within the line item, it appears as though they have incurred expenditures in excess of 222, which is 247,000. 25 of that was just this last month, but then they have an encumbrance of 125,000. So that's why that line item is at 167% because of that encumbrance. They're really just a little bit over that budgeted amount. This is on page 1 of their Munis report, by the way. Line item 201I.
Ingrid, maybe that 125 encumbrance is what Christian meant by overspending the line to perhaps build up the reserve. Maybe we could ask him about that.
Yeah, they've already overspent their worker comp line almost $150,000
Yeah.
on their own report.
Right.
That's what he meant by shifting money to the worker comp and medical reserves.
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
So he'll pull it probably from his non-lapsing
Okay.
to fund it.
I apologize. I do understand about the trailing and the constant liability that exists at the beginning of the year and will exist at the end of the year, and then only a portion of it gets reconciled during the year. So, thank you very much for clarifying that and showing the difference there. The workman's comp chart or detail that they have, which just doesn't have a page number to it, which is on the same page as the medical dental income and expenses. Both last month and this month has shown, I think, that the reports are incomplete for the month that's listed. For instance, now the latest month listed is September. And for workman's comp, it's showing 0 contribution from the Board of Ed. So again, that's a number, even last month's number of 161, I don't think that matched up to its line item in the budget page that it gives us. But yeah, so September is incomplete there. Last month, the report that was given to us was incomplete, at least on the medical side, because the August numbers in this newest report are updated from the numbers that were given to us for August last month. So it was these reports are not 100% complete for the last month listed.
It could be that they actually, the way that they fund it is that they send out checks. So it could be that the checks did not get to us on time.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with the claims paid though as well. Claims paid changed between this report and the prior report for the month of August.
Mm-hmm.
Again, understandable. I just wanted us to know what kind of report we're getting. That's all. I have some further questions regarding this. Regarding the charts on that page there. the, the numbers for the employer contributions for medical, again, is there a reason why they don't match the expenditure given to us for, in their budget? I thought at least for the medical, it's pretty much straightforward. They give what they give, or they contribute what they do.
I mean, we didn't develop the report. I mean, it looks like Board of Ed, is that supposed to be employee contributions, claims paid? I mean, it's a report that their board asked for, so I'm sure their board understands the format they asked it.
All right.
I mean, you can, when they're back in front of you in January, you can ask them more information about it, but, you know, the important things to us is, if you look to the right, he tells you what the workers' comp reserve cash account is, what the IBNR is, and
Okay.
where it stands.
All right,
Those are
well,
the
I'll
important
let it go,
numbers.
I'll let it go for the workman's comp, but for the medical here, month-to-date actual, 907,000 is what they said that they contributed to medical in the month of September. And it's listed here in their chart as 650,000. There's no way it could include the employee contributions as well.
Mike, I guess what I will say is I did check one or two of these numbers, and the first one you mentioned for sure, the workman's comp, I looked at the total, maybe like you did, which is on the report you're referring to is 193,600, and yet the cover report showed 247,000 year-to-date, so I did what you did, they don't reconcile.
We're just looking for some consistency,
Right.
report to report. We're getting a lot of numbers here, and they're all over the board. Just as a comment, the amount of claims paid in the month of September, 1.194 million. That's the most that I've seen ever from the Board of Ed in their last 12 months. It's a very high number, but I guess all the teachers came back to school with bills. It's just the way it happens. And that's what makes their reserve account fluctuate so greatly from month to month. It just depends on how much they decide to contribute, because they run that reserve account as their operating funds. Which they don't have to do, but that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And since we're on the subject, as a pet peeve here, I'm still trying to figure out how they reconciled the previous year when they, because in the, thank you, oh, by the way, Mr. Bonnicle, I want to thank you very much for finding some subordinate that was able to get me the full claims, get all of us, the full claims detail of the past year. I'm glad that you do listen to some of my requests, and you must have looked at some of my threatening emails. It's nice to have this here. And it shows at the very bottom under net claims.
So Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Are we on the Board of Ed? It looks like you're on the town side now.
No, this is
He's on Board of Ed still.
Board of Ed.
That's the Board of Ed one?
That's the Board of Ed.
Medical
Board of Ed
pharmacy and vision
full
Yeah, I
one
got it.
sheet
Right. I got it.
supplement here.
Yep.
Special delivery. And on the bottom line here, under net claims, it shows 10,237,000 through 6/30/25. Is that a real figure of what, that's the real figure, you can take that literally. That's what came out of the Board of Ed's self-funded insurance account. Is that correct?
Very bottom line. About 2/3 of the way over. Net claims.
I mean, it is clean, but there's categories that go against it, be it stop loss.
I'm guessing that's a rolling 12 months. It's got to be.
Yeah,
right.
this is rolling 12. If
Well,
you want,
that's gotta be actual 12, because
Yeah.
the
So
total
it's
claims
total
paid
minus stop loss.
is, right. Total claims is 2 columns to the left.
Yep.
And stop loss in between.
557, yep.
So that's very close to what
yeah,
they,
so if you want, I'll
I
give
thought you were
I'll-
questioning why this number didn't agree with the reports we got, because these are
This
year-to-date
is
reports.
last year's.
right, so this is last year. Now, Board of Ed budgeted $7.5 million
They had a bad
for
year.
insurance. All right, well, that's something that this board should know, that they're, I thought they'd be negative by about $1 million, but it seems like it's closer to, it's a little over $2 million.
Well, wait a minute. I've looked at these columns, Mike. Actually, it looked to me like the poorer years were 23 and 24, and that 25, they actually, sorry, I thought they were ahead. Let me look at this again.
Michael, if you want, I'll do a spreadsheet for you, and I'll give you what the cost was minus everything that came in, minus stop loss, so you can
Yeah.
see what they net out.
Well,
Oh.
that's sort of what I thought
Well, you
this
can
would show.
analyze it from this, but it's gonna take some time to go through it. If you didn't do it, I'll do it for you tomorrow.
Mike, sorry, I don't know what this column Anthem allocation rates is, Mike. I don't understand that column. But if you go to the one to the left of that, which is medical and pharmacy plan costs, and you go to the period you're talking about, 6/30/25, it's $10.9 million.
Mhm.
Directly next to it is the net claims, which is only 10.2. Now that, by the way, isn't true for some of the prior periods.
Yeah,
But when I looked at it, my interpretation was that they did better in 25, but they did not do so well in 23 and 24. That may not be the right, but that was a conclusion I came to when I saw this report.
yes. Okay, but either through an email or through a memo or something, could you try to make sense of these numbers?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I think Mr. Hallahan has yielded the floor. I'm sure there's time for other members to speak if they wish.
Once again, I'd like to request if there is a special ed, special fund, if we could get a balance from that, as well as the special ed capital improvement, which of course is different from their line item CIF, capital improvement fund line item.
I'm
So-
sorry, I thought you said special ed capital improvement. Didn't it?
So there's two different special funds that we do not have a report in this packet. One of them is special ed, and the other is capital improvement. And so if we could get those other reserve account reports.
I don't think there's any money in the capital improvement fund.
I don't think so
There is
either.
none.
No, the
They,
capital is zero.
that fund was rolled into the non-lapsing fund.
So I think we thought that, and then we saw evidence to the contrary last year, because I think there was 1 month in which they actually reported on the capital improvement fund. So if they have actually zeroed it out, we should actually see the accounting for that. And likewise, for special education, I think we should see.
Well, I don't think we need to see the accounting. We don't get GL entries as a board here, right?
No, their board does.
What's that?
I mean, their board reviews
Right.
their
I mean-
accounts. We get it in totals.
From quite some time, we received a special ed, reserve account report every month. And then all of a sudden, we just stopped getting it. So I would just like to, just as we receive it for medical reserve and
I'm assuming
workers'
it's in the
comp and so
capital,
forth.
right, Rich?
It should be.
Right? All right, I'll look into it, Nancy,
Okay,
and I'll talk to Rich
great.
about it.
And I'm also assuming that even though the Board of Ed didn't meet and we didn't meet during the months of June and July, that there was still information sent from the Board of Ed business office to our town's finance office with accounting for those 2 months So to the extent that you could run a munis report for the Board of Ed for the months of May and June of the last fiscal year, I would certainly appreciate it. I know that I requested that not once but twice of the chairman. And so I think that that information is available. It has to be available, not only to our finance office, but of course it has to be available to the auditors who are currently doing an audit of the last fiscal year. So if we could also be provided with that information, I'd appreciate it.
We can ask the Board of Ed for it.
That'd be
We
great.
do not run the reports.
Okay.
I would think the June report would be enough, right? You're asking for
You
May and
received
June?
I'm asking for May and June. The problem is we go from the end of April to the year-end report.
Right.
And in their year-end report, they do not report the monthly column. They simply report the year-end expenditures. And so we're kind of kept in the dark as to what happened during May and June. And I'm not trying to imply that there's anything nefarious. I just think that it's one thing to make a verbal explanation. It's another thing to make an accounting explanation. And so I think it would just be very useful to us if, as we are evaluating the end-of-year report, not just the unaudited, but ultimately the audited version, if we also have the reports from the Board of Finance and their individual line item accounts.
All right, we'll make the request.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, other members on the reports?
Well, they just to note that they added 2 new accounts that have no budget, but they've already spent the money. Registered behavior technician and registered, let's see.
Reimbursable
Yeah.
wages.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
two.
I
So
noticed that as well.
I noticed that, but there's no budget, but there's money against them, expenses against them.
And again, I was talking to Diane about this. I assumed that that was coming from that very top line, that they also added the salary contingency, because when they were presenting this year's budget, there were some, I believe that there were some CBAs that were still being negotiated, and as well as these other behavioral technicians that also needed not only additional training, but also they'll be compensated at a higher rate. So I assumed it would come from one and just be filtered into the other, but that top line hasn't budged. So I wasn't quite sure what the salary contingency will be used for. And in their packet, excuse me, the Board of Ed is also talking about the new company that they're going with, DATCO. It sounds like they're working very closely with them and trying to optimize the bus service to all of our students here in town, which is great to see. And as many people know, we've had at least one town meeting, and we have another town meeting coming up about various ordinances regarding increased safety in our town with speeding cameras, but also the possibility of installing some artificial intelligence on the various buses in order to record those individuals who try to pass buses when the bus is stopped and the security stop sign is extended. So it sounds like they're considering going with a vendor called Bus Patrol.
Well, let me
Is
just,
that possible?
it's already done.
It's been done? Okay.
So we're way ahead of this. You know, we've been working on this for months, at least 6 months, Rich and I. We met with Bus Patrol. The cameras are going to be fitted starting in 2026. So we're the ones here that are managing this, leading this, and bringing this forward, in conjunction with the Board of Education.
And it was on the news.
And police.
And police.
For sure.
Yes, Mike was on the news for that. I saw that clip. It's a big problem, though. People passing
Yeah.
buses.
It's shocking how many.
I know,
I never would have believed it.
yeah. Everybody's in a rush, I guess.
And I met with the bus company owner last week in conjunction with the Board of Education. We're way ahead of this, we're moving forward with it, and it's going to start being equipped in the first portion of 2026.
I guess at the town meeting, I remember the vendor was present to talk about the speed cameras. Not that we actually received a presentation from them about the product, but we certainly received a presentation from the town attorney. I just didn't remember hearing that a vendor had not only been selected, but we're going forward with this particular vendor, Bus Patrol.
Yes.
It just says
Help
in our
me
ordinance we
understand
can
this,
select a
that's
vendor.
all part of the Board of Ed. That's not part of the Board of Finance to make those kind of decisions.
Oh, no,
So the
I'm
Board
not,
of Ed
I'm
has
not
moved
implying that
forward
we
with
do.
what they need to do with that. I'm not sure why it was included in our packet, the info they gave us on DATCO, I don't think it needed to be in here.
Well, I think it's because this is what they give to their, he's just giving
Yeah,
us
they
what they
just gave
give.
us the same packet, you're right.
Yeah.
Just letting
It's
us
the
know.
same thing they give
Yeah,
their
it's
grade.
good to know
Right.
about.
All right, any final comments on the reports? If not, I'll take a motion on the reports, please.
Make a motion?
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. All right, we've got our schedules to just bless. I think we need to vote on them too, actually. We did get a corrected schedule. There was a couple of dates that were incorrect. So we have both the schedule of our regular meetings for the next year through to December 16th of 2016. And we have the budget making and workshop schedule as well, which there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 different, well, that includes the Board of Selectmen, 5 different dates for the budget. And then there's the budget making schedule, which is, I think, probably primarily for the Finance Office and the Board of Finance. It gives us all the pertinent dates on both meetings and when things have to be delivered to the Finance Office and books printed and so on. Fairly perfunctory, but are there any comments or questions on that by the members? All right, motion,
Will we get paid time and a half for Saturday workshops?
only if you show up on time. How about a motion on the, both the regular meetings and the budget making and workshop meeting schedule for the upcoming year?
Make a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
I have a first, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Before we go to public comment, I'll just announce, I have a conflict next month, I won't be here. Diane will take over the chair for the November meeting.
Watch out.
I've done it before, the quickest meeting, remember?
I know that.
I'm told she will not tolerate any late arrivals.
That's right.
Would anyone in the public like to make a comment or ask a question?
Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
I just one point of personal privilege here. I just wanted to straighten out one minor issue, and that is there's a little, of course, it's election season, and there is some publicity out there for candidates that exist. For myself, there was something that was improperly captioned or stated, and it may have led to the perception of some sort of Republican financial abuse. And I want to say, if it's happening, it's very well hidden, and I want to commend them. But that certainly, that refers to an incident back in 2005, 2006. So I just wanted to say that under the current administration and in my last 10-plus years here of the 20, I've seen nothing but upstanding and highly ethical conduct by our board and our town administration, Mr. Monaco notwithstanding. And it's just been terrific to continue to work with all you folks, and we'll see what happens in the days ahead. Okay. I do want to apologize, though, for it is being corrected. The caption that was listed with my name. So, okay.
Haven't seen it, interested to read it.
It's better.
I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest with you, Mike.
None of us do.
But that's every meeting, so. I mean,
Okay.
And, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to encourage everyone to please attend the town meeting on October 27th, in which we'll be addressing not only the standard budget transfers, but also the ordinance on the illegal use of motor vehicles and street takeovers. So please, everyone, please attend that particular meeting.
and that will occur here on the second floor conference room that we're in
I
right now.
believe so, yes.
Anyone in the audience like to speak, ask questions? Sally?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Sally Buemi, 5 Blossom Drive. I want to throw in my 2 cents on the Cemetery Commission, because this is something I'm familiar with. Mr. Frieda, you might recall back in 2018, I think it was, I had raised an issue at a Board of Selectmen meeting concerned about a dozen grave markers were lying flat, and some of them were broken in the ancient cemetery. And a couple of them were Revolutionary War veterans, and I found that unacceptable. So I talked about it, and you suggested, rightfully, I go to the Cemetery Commission meeting, which I did the following meeting that they had, and you very nicely showed up at that meeting as well. But in between the 2 meetings, I had done some research, mostly because you might recall there was a citizen back in those days, Tim, you might have still been on the Board of Selectmen, who was complaining that the racquetball club
Yeah,
was in
sure.
the wrong spot, and it shouldn't be there. It was supposed to be a cemetery. So I had done a lot of research in the land records, researching that issue, and came across some deeds from the old North Haven Cemetery Association, which used to own, which was a private incorporated entity who used to own our town cemeteries, transferred everything over to the town. I believe it was in the 86 comes into mind, but it could have been 88. It was sometime in the late 80s. And also some of that documentation that I read referred to a fund. And so I asked then Finance Director Ed Swinkowski, what is this fund? Oh yeah, he said, there's a fund, it's got over $200,000, almost $250,000 in it. And so I said, well, that's it, we got to fix these markers, And so you and I were the only 2 guests or members of the public, if you will, at that Cemetery Commission meeting, and they went along with that approval. I assume we did not use all of that fund to to repair those 12 markers back then. So do you know how much money is still in that fund that Mr. Swinkowski told me about?
Well, it started out, I think, when I first took office, over 300,000, maybe 320 roughly. Went down about 270. It's probably around 200 now, Rich, maybe?
About 2 1/4.
About 2 1/4, right.
The stones that were repaired was a combination of that money and a grant.
Okay,
So we're
Yeah.
trying to do the same thing again.
right, I understand that, but, yeah, there is some money there. I
Yeah, there's some money
understand, yeah, because I actually remember talking to the guy that was doing the work, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Frieda, it's very difficult work. You have to be professional, especially depending upon the stone. There's white stones there in that cemetery, and then there's the brownish ones. I can't remember the geology of it, what they're made of, but one is much more fragile than the other.
It's
and it
probably
was-
sandstone.
Yes, sandstone, and so, I think the brown ones were slate of some sort. I don't know, I don't remember, but he was explaining what you referenced, that it really is almost an art form to very gently and carefully
Right.
repair those. So, that all, came back to me with your discussion. So I do understand you're saying there's about 2 1/4 in there, but, you're still looking to
Find a
match.
grant,
Okay,
grant.
thank you. So yeah, that brought back a lot of memories, how we worked to get those markers up. I also just wanted to go back in time a little bit on self-insurance very quickly. Back in May, I gave a little talk here with a few different recommendations for the next budget formulation process, which is, we're at the doorstep of that. It'll be here before you know it, starting in December, January. And one of them was potentially looking at getting away from self-insurance. And at that time in May, you said you were considering it. But then in August, you said we're staying with the self-insurance because you.
There's a distinction there, too.
Okay,
So-
but you had mentioned that,
Right.
you know, the benefit of a group, you know,
Yes.
the savings in a
Right.
group. So why don't you tell me the distinction, and then I'll ask my next
There's
question.
a huge distinction.
Okay.
Well before you came before us in May, probably 8 months before, we've been working on moving the workman's comp over.
Okay.
To not up to, against self-insured. So that's what we're talking about. We are not going to be moving health insurance over to self-insured at this point. We don't see any need to right now, but we will be moving probably starting in January. Rich and I are working on this, and we're going to be moving the workman's compensation
Right.
over to a premium-based policy. So sometime in 2026, we're not even having any need to have any discussions on workman's comp funds
Right.
and things like that. We're getting away from that. So the distinction is there's 3 types of insurance. General liability, GL.
Yeah.
Is workman's compensation, which is what we're just talking about, and health insurance. So we're staying with the self-insured model on health insurance, and we're moving to a new model, a premium-based model on workman's compensation, to reduce the volatility in what we see in workman's comp. The vicissitudes of health insurance, ups and downs, are, I can't talk too deeply about this because there's a lot of HIPAA rules that govern this, but we have, sadly, some people that really are ill, and there's some high claims. So this is why we have a stop loss also. So that's the distinction.
Well, I very well understand the 3 types of insurance, but in May, I specifically referenced medical, and I gave as an example 4 fiscal years ago, our medical insurance line on the town side was 5.88 million, and this year, in the current budget, it cracked 10 million. And so I was specifically referencing the medical insurance for town employees / retirees. That line is at 10 million.
All right, so
And you said that you were considering it
Or-
at that time. I never mentioned workers' comp because I didn't.
well, I talked about workman's comp back then.
Yes,
so-
but, so you're staying.
We're staying.
My question is, when we first went on self-insurance years ago, which I
Right.
supported your initiative back then, I wanted to talk about who we are associated with, because you made some meritorious points about the advantage of being in a group.
Right.
And so correct me if my
no, I
recollection
understand,
is wrong. I thought in the beginning we were with Ansonia and ACES.
So we're
And are
with,
we still with them, or are there others with us? That's really my question.
we're with ACES, and ACES brings in the other municipalities. And the reason we're staying with it, we're not moving from it. Tell you right now, we're not moving from it right now. So, because we are able to compress the administrative costs through having an aggregate purchasing power by having multiple companies, or in this case municipalities, in this circuit, so to speak, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why. So we still protect the integrity of our individual losses and claims. We're not in a pool on that. So, but we are able to compress the administrative costs very significantly. Will we look at it every year? Yeah, we probably would, but we're not moving this year.
So Ansonia, am I remembering correctly that Ansonia used to be in with us?
Well,
And they're out now?
Stratford's in with us.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's new.
I don't remember if it's.
They were looking, and somebody was looking at it, I think, so.
Okay.
I don't remember all the
Right.
members. ACES is the largest member that's in the group.
ACES
Right.
is a huge member, so, right. So.
Okay,
it's
so
a-
we're.
It's a consortium, that's the better
Yes.
word. It's a
Consortium,
consortium, right.
Well, and I do understand the argument quite well about saving on administrative costs, the more there are. I was just wondering if it had if our partners, if you will, had changed. So it's still
The group has
ACES.
increased in size.
Yes, right.
There's more municipalities entering it, either town side or Board of Ed sides. There's a lot of Board of Eds in it. The
And-
groups increased in size, not decreased.
And we don't manage that. We get
No.
the updates on that. So, but we get the benefit of any new member that comes in. Like I said, we get this aggregate purchasing power, and it helps us with our administrative costs with the carrier side. In this case, Anthem Blue Cross.
Right.
So,
Okay, I just wanted to clarify who
That's the answer, yes.
was with us and who came in, who went out, if any. Thank you very much.
okay.
Thank you, Sally.
I just need to add one thing so we don't forget. Next month's meeting will be at the library community room.
Oh, thank you, Rich. And that will be for the next couple of months, you think?
Probably the next few months, at
Okay.
at least November and December, possibly into
Okay.
January, February. Worst case scenario.
Right. Thanks, Rich.
That's a good point.
Other members of the public have questions or comments? All right, not seeing any, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.